What's up, everybody? Hopefully, everybody's doing good. Welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't made a whole lot of videos lately. I've been very inconsistent about that. I apologize to my followers. But anyway, I decided to make you guys a paranormal video tonight, and it's about a subject that I've discussed briefly in some of my other videos, and I said that I would maybe one day do a video about this person, and it's probably going to take like two or three videos to completely tell the story. But I don't want the video to be too long, so um, it's kind of it's not going to be in the exact order, but I just kind of like try to do things like it kind of just feels right to tell this part of it first. So basically, don't remember if I said it or not. It's a paranormal video, and basically, this person was somebody that I knew in high school, but not very well. Like, uh, she's a very pretty girl, and a lot of guys liked her in high school, but she wasn't really allowed to date a whole lot because her family was like really super strict, like religious. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that too much because, like I said, I'm going to tell this story in like two or three parts. So basically, this person, I ended up meeting her like I forget how many years out of high school, but it was probably like about '98, uh, and I graduated in '90. So about 8 years after high school, I ended up running into her. Long story short, we ended up getting together, and she told me some things that kind of scared me. But I and one well one of them was basically she told me like her family on her mom's side, like as far back as she could remember, was like pretty big into Santeria. And if you don't know what Santeria is, it's like a it's like big in Latin, like all the Latin American countries, but some more than others. I hear it's like really big, like in Brazil, but like in Mexico and like pretty much all the South American countries. It's like a mixture of Catholicism, the Catholic religion, and voodoo, like the African type voodoo. So it's like it's bad news. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to do one of these to kind of protect myself because no joke, like I know I'm kind of like laughing, but it's actually because I'm a little bit nervous to talk about this person. It it was no joke, and this person made my life hell for a while, and sometimes to this day I still kind of wonder if I'm still feeling the effects of what this person did to me or put on me. But anyway, so this particular story, um, like I said. She told me she was into Santeria, and she told me if I ever did her wrong or broke her heart or something, that she would put something on me so dark that everywhere I went, I'd feel like a black cloud was following me, and nothing would go right for me. So that was basically the reason I broke it off with her when she told me that. I told her she was freaking nuts and told her we're done. So like basically. So like I've said it in some of my other videos too, like I was uh I was kind of a player when I was younger, I used to play the field a lot, and but I was always like honest with the females that I dated. Like I always let them know like, hey, I'm not trying to get serious. Like I'm just you know dating and just um not really looking for a girlfriend, to settle down or whatever. But so anyway, so when I was seeing her, I was actually seeing two other Latinas, right? And so like basically, I ended up staying with the one that ended up becoming my baby's mom, eventually. And so like the crazy thing is like I'd say maybe like a little bit it was like a little bit after my son was born. Actually, I think he was like maybe about 2 or 3. Like a lot of things had been happening to me previous to this, but I'll talk about those in another video. Like I'll go more in depth. But basically, a lot of things kind of led up to this. But so we had just moved into a new apartment, like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. We had been at this new apartment, and if I didn't say, I'll say again. This was like maybe around like well, I ran into her in '98, but this was probably like about 2003 when this happened. I think my son was, or maybe 2002. I think my son was about 2 years old. But anyway, so we had just moved into this new apartment, and one night um, I was in the living room, just watching TV, staying up late. It was like on a night off from work, and my son and my lady had already gone to bed. They were in the bedroom, and I ended up falling asleep on the couch. I just turned the TV off because I was like dozing off, and the couches that we had at the time were really comfortable, so I just stayed where I was at, and so it was maybe like I think it was maybe like either just past 3 in the morning or around 3 in the morning, maybe a little bit later, like maybe like 3:30. But anyway, so like I know some people are gonna say, well, maybe it was just a dream, you know, but some things that happened kind of, showed to me that this was definitely more than a dream because so what happened was I ended up falling asleep and so I'm on the couch, like, on my side, like basically facing towards um like the kitchen or like dining area, I guess you would say. And so I woke up, well, I opened my eyes because I saw like a kind of like a bright light, like a flash. And so when I opened my eyes, what I saw was it looked like a portal. Like I mean, that's what I assumed it was because it was like a black hole, and but around it was like kind of shining, like kind of almost like what a solar eclipse looks like, but it just looked like a black hole and then shininess around it, right? And then from out of this black hole, uh, man, I'm hearing weird sounds in here now. I swear, every time I start telling a freaking paranormal story, man, I start to hear fucking weird sounds in here. For those of you that don't know, I do overnight security at a call center, and like this, so I'm like the only one here in this, big ass building by myself, But anyway, so yeah, so I opened my eyes because I see this shining bright light, and from out of this black hole, like this portal or whatever it was, comes walking out a naked female, and it was that chick, you know, the one that had made my life hell for a couple of years. That did basically I call her the bruja, like a witch. Um, and if she ever comes across this video, like I know it won't make her happy, but hey, I'm just telling the truth from my perspective. Like I'm not telling anything that didn't happen or that's not true. But anyway, she comes walking out naked, and I'm just like looking at her like, what the fuck? And she's smiling, and she comes walking over to me on the couch, and I'm just like staring at her like with my mouth open, right? And she's like, aren't you happy to see me? And I was like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna just tell the truth, exactly what I said. I was like, yeah, but how are you here? I mean, because I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? And like, a lot of men won't admit it, but if you see a very attractive, naked woman in front of you, and you know what I'm saying, you're like, okay, I'm gonna just go with this. So basically, that's what she said. She goes, "Aren't you happy to see me?" And but with this big smile on her face, and I'm like, "Yeah, but how the fuck are you here?" And then she basically tells me like, "Don't worry about that." And she climbs on top of me on the couch. She climbs on top of me, and she says something like, "Just don't think about it. Just enjoy yourself." And she starts kissing me. And so, like I said, I just kind of went with it, and I start kissing her back. So I'm kind of laying on my side, and I'm like this, like kissing her, right? And then, like, we were kissing for a while, and of course, it felt great and everything, and it felt like so real, like just super, like just it felt real, like it was really happening, right? And then I started to get this weird feeling, like I don't know, just like this weird feeling, like my life force was being like sucked out of my mouth. I swear that's what it felt like. And so I opened my eyes because I had my eyes closed. I opened my eyes, and her face was like a demon face, like looked crazy. And I was like, and then she's kind of like laughing as I'm looking at her face, and but it was like her lips were like glued to mine or something. Like I couldn't pull away from her. And she was really strong, like holding on to me, like I couldn't pull away from her, right? So I couldn't speak, obviously, because she had her mouth over mine. But in my head, I started shouting like prayers. Like I've said in the past, like I don't ever push my beliefs on anybody. I was raised Catholic, so that's what I believe in. So of course, the Catholic thing is to, obviously you're gonna shout out the name of God, in the name of God, leave me alone. And then I probably called out like the archangel Saint Michael. That's like a Catholic thing, because if you know anything about the Bible, he's the one that defeated Lucifer and vanquished him to hell or whatever. So as I shouted out those prayers in my head, um, she kind of like she just was like laughing, and she kind of like started to fade away. And the crazy thing is that she was fading away. I could still hear her laughing, but it sounded like she was all around me, like freaking like surround sound. You know what I'm saying? And and then so she just went away. And so like I don't know if I think I just kind of laid there for a while, and I'm like thinking to myself, "Fuck, that was a fucked up dream." That's what I had. That was my reaction to the first time, because this repeated itself again, and I'll get to that. So that was kind of my reaction. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "That was a fucked up dream." But being a man, I didn't want to, I guess act scared or show that I was scared or whatever. So I just, I closed my eyes, and I went back to sleep. The same exact thing happened again. As soon as I fell asleep, she came back to me again. And I won't go through the whole thing again, because it was pretty much almost the same exact um, thing that happened, except this time, uh, when I opened my eyes, she was already like standing next to me, and she just climbed on top of me. And of course, like I was just like kind of in shock, like okay, maybe I don't know. I just went with it again, like a dumbass. You know what I'm saying? Like a man thinking with the wrong head, basically. And so pretty much the same thing happened again. Except this time, I don't think I closed my eyes. I think I just started kissing her, and then I was kind of watching her, and then she transformed again. And then I, started, saying my prayers again. But this time it took a lot longer for her to stop, to disappear. And I think it was because I pretty much allowed her. Like I knew what was going to happen, and I did it anyway. So, whatever you believe in, I believe that because I knew what was happening and I allowed it to happen, I guess God was like, hey, uh, you're you want to go along with this, so you got to learn a lesson or something. I don't know. But so anyway, she ended up, fading away again. The same thing. I could hear her laughing, like all around me, like I don't know, like she was flying around or some shit. But this time, I got up, I sat up, and I'm looking around the living room and like towards the dining room, like where she appeared the first time, and I was like, what the fuck was that? Like I was just tripping because I've never like had a dream or a vision or whatever you want to call it. I've never had like something repeat itself like that. And that was what I was really tripping out on because it felt so real and because it she came back, like she reappeared to me or whatever. So I got up and I walked to the bedroom and like I don't know if just me walking in the bedroom like woke my lady up or whatever, but when I walk in the bedroom, she opened her eyes and she looks at me and she goes, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "What?" She goes, "What's wrong with you?" She goes, "You look like you're as white as the wall." And I was like, "Yeah, right." She goes, "I'm serious." She goes, "You look like something scared the shit out of you." And she had no idea like what had just happened. And I was like, "Nah." I was like, "Nothing's wrong with me." And so I just like lay down on the other side of the bed. My son was in between us. And because that's how Mexicans are. We don't be putting our baby in a crib in another room. That's crazy to me. That's insane. Like to me, your baby's got to be in the same room with you where you can protect that baby. Like I always trip out on shit when I see. I'm not gonna call out any races that do it or anything like that, but that's crazy to me, especially when people put their child in another room and then they close the door. But anyway, so I lay down and she kind of like sat up in bed and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" She's like, "What happened? Did something happen to you?" And I was like, I don't really want to talk about it. But she wouldn't, drop it. So I told her what happened. And then she was like, "That bitch is still fucking with you." And I was like, "I don't know." I said, I don't even want to think about it right now. So took me a while, but I ended up falling asleep. And let me just check to see how long this video is. So like that wasn't the last time. Um, and like I said, like it scared the shit out of me because it was so real, and obviously, it was to the point where whatever it was scared me so bad that she noticed that something was wrong with me, and she said my face was like as white as the freaking wall. So I didn't really do anything because I just thought like I don't know like I guess I don't know if I was in denial or I just didn't know. I still didn't believe that it was anything serious. Like I thought maybe it was just like a just the first time I had like a really bad dream, like I don't know, like twice in a row or whatever. But another thing that happened, like maybe like a couple weeks later, it was in the middle of the day, and I was like the only one home, and I ended up falling asleep on the bed, and but I was like asleep like on my stomach. Sometimes I used to like to sleep like that. So I ended up falling asleep, and like I know some people might say it was sleep paralysis or something like that, but this was also a thing that just felt like so real. And what happened was, I remember I'm laying down, and I hear like footsteps coming into the room with me. But it was weird because like it sounded like whatever was walking like sounded like it had claws on its feet because when it was walking it sounded like the carpet was like how like when cats walk and they put their claws out and it kind of like picks the carpet up and it makes like a certain sound. That's what it sounded like, but it sounded like something big. You know what I mean? And I remember I'm like thinking in my head, what the fuck is that? Like I don't know if I was too scared to look or if I couldn't move, honestly. But I remember like I'm just laying there and I'm like just like tripping out. And then next thing I know, I can feel something sniffing my neck. Like I could hear like a sniffing sound and like I could feel the wind like from something like breathing on my neck. And I just like, man, I started praying again, and I was like, you know, in my mind, I was just like shouting these prayers like, telling it to leave me alone, whatever the fuck it was, you know. So it ended up, you know, leaving, and this one was a lot more brief, you know, and it didn't happen again. But I ended up after that, and again, like I said, like I don't push my beliefs on anybody, but just for me personally, I ended up going in and buying a bunch of crucifixes, and I got some holy water, and I ended up putting like I put a crucifix over like every door, like the door to come in, the Arcadia door to come out, and then like over two over like each one over each bedroom door, and and then I just sprinkled holy water like everywhere in that place, and pretty much after that, like it was cool. Like nothing like that, you know, happened there again. But like I said, there's a lot more to this story about this person, but I'm gonna save that for some other videos because this video is already starting to get kind of long. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Hope I didn't like stutter and, you know, him and haul around too much because, like I said, I'm still a little bit nervous to talk about this subject, and you know, so anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully it scared the shit out of you guys a little bit because it made me nervous to talk about this, especially here in this place, you know, all by myself, and I'm hearing all kinds of fucking weird ass noises. But anyways, it's another one for you guys for now. Your homie Big Cisco. Peace.